They say nothing ever happens in small towns, but they never tell you what's buried just beneath the silence. My name is Keith. I'm 19, and I grew up in a quiet town with just 800 people. Life was slow, safe until I followed my best friend to the one place everyone warned us about. No signs, no answers, just an old hill the adults refused to speak of. But we didn't listen. That night we climbed to the top, and we saw them, 20 figures in black robes, white masks, and a chant that felt like it was crawling into our bones. We ran. We thought it was over. It wasn't, because the hill doesn't forget, and once it sees you, you're never really free again. My name is Keith. I'm 19 years old, and I've lived in the same small town for all of my life. We've only got about 800 people, and nothing ever really changes. The days are slow, the nights are quiet, and folks here like it that way. Wake early, you go to work, maybe stop at Miller's Diner for lunch, then sit on your porch and talk about the weather. People say nothing ever happens here, but that's not exactly true. Some things do happen, strange things. There's a part of town everyone avoids. Nobody really talks about it, but we all know it's there. We just call it the Hill, not Devil's Hill or Deadman's Ridge. Just the Hill. Simple, ominous, off-limits. When we were kids, our parents warned us never to go near it. Stay away from the hill, they said. Don't play there, don't even look at it too long. But they never told us why. If you asked, they'd change the subject or go quiet, and that only made us more curious. We told each other stories, kids stuff. Some said a cult lived there, others said people went missing, but no one had proof. We all thought it was just some spooky tale to keep us from wandering off too far. Until the night Joe dared me to go. Joe is 2 years older than me. He's 21 now. Always been like a big brother. Brave, tough, maybe a little reckless, but the kind of guy you want on your side. We've been friends since diapers. That summer I was 10, and he was 12. I was sleeping over at his place one hot night in July. We couldn't sleep, so we laid on the floor, talking about monsters and ghosts. The kind of stuff that gets your heart racing even though you're safe inside. Then we started talking about the hill. I bet that cult stuff ain't even real, Joe said, staring up at the ceiling. Maybe not, I said. Then he turned and grinned. Wanna go find out? I hesitated. I wanted to say no, but I didn't. I couldn't. Not with Joe looking at me like that. We grabbed flashlights and slipped out the back door just after midnight. The town was dead quiet, nothing but the buzz of bugs and our footsteps on gravel. The sky was overcast, and the air felt heavy like a storm was waiting just beyond the clouds. The hill stood like a shadow in the dark, taller than I remembered. Grass moved like waves in the wind. The moon peeked out from behind the clouds just enough to turn everything silver. We climbed slowly, keeping our lights low. At the top, we got on our stomachs and peered over the ridge. That's when we saw them. 20 people, maybe more, standing in a circle beneath the massive old oak tree. Each of them wore black robes and white featureless masks. They held candles and they were chanting, not in English, not in any language I'd ever heard. It didn't sound like words at all. It sounded like buzzing, like insects crawling under your skin. I wanted to run, but I couldn't move. Then Joe slipped. A rock tumbled down the slope with a loud crack. A chanting stopped. Every masked head turned toward us. In perfect unison, we ran. Tore through the grass, slid down the other side of the hill. I swear I heard footsteps behind us. Something chasing, but I never looked back. We didn't stop until we were behind Joe's house again. Hearts pounding, lungs burning. We collapsed on the lawn. Didn't say a word. We never spoke about it again. But the memory stayed. The hill stayed. Every time I passed it, I felt something watching me. Years went by. We grew up, got jobs, but that feeling never left. Then a few months ago, Joe showed up at my door. You ever think about going back? He asked. I didn't answer. He knew I had. Older now, he said. We can handle it. I should have said no, but I did. In single quotes. We went back. This time we brought better flashlights, pocket knives, and our phones. It was past 1 a.m. when we got there. Everything looked the same. Too same. The tree, the grass, the stillness. But it felt worse, heavier. We climbed the hill again. No robed figures, no chanting. Just the tree. Then Joe pointed to the base. Something was there. We crept down. It was a circle of rocks freshly placed in. The middle sat a small wooden box. Joe bent down and opened it. Inside were 5 white masks. Old, but untouched. Like time hadn't touched them. Suddenly, the air shifted. Cold swept in. I turned and saw them, figures just beyond the tree line. Silent, still watching. We dropped the box and ran that night. We didn't go home, we drove to towns over and slept in Joe's truck behind a gas station. We didn't talk about it. Not then, but things started changing after that. Joe stopped showing up to work, he barely texted. When he did, it was weird stuff. It followed me home. It watches me when I sleep. He looked pale, sick. His hands shook. He stopped eating. There's something inside me, he whispered one night. Something from the hill. I didn't believe him, until I started feeling it too. Lights in my house would flicker at night. I'd hear whispers when no one was home, see shadows standing just outside my window. I started researching the hill. Turns out, it used to be called Alden's Rise. I found old newspapers in the library basement, records dating back to 1907, articles about disappearances, whole families vanishing. One name kept popping up, Reverend Caleb Yarrow. He used to run a church near the hill in his journal. I found this. The mouth beneath the oak demands memory. It feeds on forgotten names. They returned last night, but they were not people anymore. The last page was just a smear of ink and the words, "It's open now." I tried to leave town, made it to the county line. My car died. No lights, no reason. When I got out, my bag was outside the car, opened out inside. There was just a white mask. Doe called me one last time. "We have to go back." I refused. "I saw my face," he said. Inside one of the masks, we went, one final time. It wasn't curiosity anymore. It was pulling us. We climbed the hill in silence. No figures, no box, just the tree, and a hole beneath it, perfectly round. Dug deep into the earth. From inside came a voice, not in sound, but in thought. It said my name. Joe dropped to his knees. He turned to me, tears in his eyes. "I remember now," he whispered. Then he jumped into the hole. Gone. I screamed his name, but nothing answered. I ran. I didn't look back. No one believed me. They said he left town. But I know the truth. He's still there. Inside it, I still dream of that hill. The oak tree, the masks, the voices. I see the circle, I see Joe. And I know. It's waiting for me next.